The 8-ball has spoken. You can see it in the chat. Apparently, HMS is not going to win today. Just got a text message from Hendrick Motorsports. They sent me marketing stuff. Exclusive 1/64th die-cast replica. Candy finish. I don't know what candy finish means. It just looks like a standard 1/64th die-cast. Interesting. To see in here King, Stacy, Rusty in here a bit earlier. I have my stuff set up and ready to go. I think the one last thing I have to configure is the leaderboard. Wish you guys could see this menu that pulls up when I have to change all of this stuff. Oh my goodness. This is always a painstaking process. There we go. Now I can hear the race. What do you mean by I hear Alan? Alan Bestwick is the voice of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So in the pre-race, when the person was announcing who was going to be doing the national anthem, who was going to be doing the invocation, whatever, that was Alan Bestwick's voice. Former lead commentator. Yeah, he's talking right now. He's so good. His voice has aged, obviously, as he has, but he still has it. Oh my goodness, that was a terrible command. Whoever that was, never bring them back. Never. That was horrible. That was a horrible command. So I'm not sure if you guys saw my post earlier. How do you just do it? I think it was done really well. Unless you're talking about me, and then yeah, that was a very subtle like post that I made. But I think it was really well done. And you could kind of see it coming in that, you know, Jimmy's obviously there in the pre-race. That's relatively normal. But then they do a little tribute video to Jimmy. Okay. Interesting. I was wondering what they were setting up for. And then they announce, what, a 15-time champion to be joining the show. The only one that can be is, like, Rick Hendrick. So then I'm like, okay, they're going to honor Jimmy somehow. And I was thinking maybe this has something to do with Bowman leaving and, like, they're going to retire the 48 or give Bowman the 48. Like, and so I didn't really expect them to give Bowman the 48 for just the 500, but that's really cool. It's really cool that NASCAR was on board with it. Ally and all of the Hendricks partners were cool with it. That was really well done. And then my immediate thought when I heard that analysis was, what's Bowman's number going to be? I mean, the 25 is the easy layup. Could do that. If Larson wasn't in the 5, then you would say, oh, well, that's simple. You bring back the 5 because that's the flagship Hendrick number. But, you know, that role's already filled. Good to see you, Jason. Hope you're staying safe at the track. Good to see you, Christian. So we had a really fun O'Reilly race yesterday, which Jason got to see in person. I thought it was really fun. They were using the plate package yesterday. Today, I kind of wish they had maybe either use the short track package, probably be the better option, or they could have went ahead and demoed the plate package here with the 4-inch spoiler. Either way, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see quite the race we saw yesterday. But just looking at the leaderboard, we have 2 Spire guys, 1, 2. Then we have the usuals, Reddick, Gibbs, Hamlin. Another Spire guy, McDowell, 6th. Then we have Corey Heim. No shocker there. We'll see if that team can hold on. We've seen Corey qualify well before, and then the team fell off throughout the day. Bowman up there in 8th. Similar story. AJ 9th. Kyle Larson 10th. Then we have our last JGR guy, right? 54, 11, 19. Oh, the 20. Where's Bell? Bell back here in 2030. He's going to have a lot to work on today. As for our Hendrick guys, Bowman, Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott back here in 27th. A lot of work there. And then our Penske guys, let's keep an eye on these guys as well, since Big Daddy Penske owns the track. So Blaney here in 12th, or no, 13th, 12 and 13th. Logano back here 19th, not really riding that momentum from the win last week. And then Josh Berry, the symbolic Penske car, and Cindric in 35th. So some of the organizations pretty bunched up and some not. Bubba kind of the sole outlier back here for 2311. Herbst's pretty far back, but he's 18th. So 39 cars in the field. Daniel Dye, one of them. And Todd Gilliland, 36th. Trying to beat Ryan Blaney in the in-season challenge bracket. 13th versus 36th. See how that goes. Jason says it's hot. One more race tomorrow. That's right. Still more racing to go for Jason. Love to see it. Rusty said he should change to 42069. I think he should change to 360 because he's, you know, vertigo. It's a spinning joke. I thought I moved the scoreboard over enough. I can't full screen the scoreboard application or it cuts off the to-go. So at some point, whenever I do my next revision, I need to change that. I need to make a note of the changes I need to make. I need to move that over. I need to work on the status when they leave the race, because right now it's broken. And I need to work on the behind. When they go down a lap, it shows as 1S. So it looks like they're just down 1 second, which is wrong. There's a few things I need to polish. You have yet to watch the O'Reilly race? We'll either tomorrow or after this race. It was a really fun race. It wasn't like the purest racing, but honestly, it looked a lot like, in some parts, an Indy 500. Because the field, it was like one long snaking line. You'd have packs of 10 to 15 cars at times. Usually less, but it was interesting. I saw a lot of people that were negative about them using the plate package there yesterday, and I thought it turned out pretty well. all things considered. In my Indy colors for the for the Brickyard 500 at Indianapolis, home of the Indy 500. We'll see who will kiss the bricks today. Can Denny Hamlin get his Grand Slam done? If he did, then we went on to win the championship, and there's like no worlds left for Denny Hamlin to conquer. Zane Smith starting a bit further back as well. So there's several big names buried back in the pack. Really, the front row guys in general off the pace, but at least they're grouped up together. So organization-wise, they're having a rough time. Zane, Gragson, and Todd. Speaking of Bowman's number, the guy who could replace him in the 88, maybe they can make a deal with Trackhouse to get Bowman his number back. I'll probably just run the 25. Lose Gomez, Zane Smith. I mean, we just mentioned him, but he's back here in 30th. Christian said he went to Jennerstown last night. Car he was helping finish second. Got robbed because he had a straightaway lead. Caution came out with... Oh. Out of lapping. Out of lapping. Would have been a fun night, but I mean, still second's really good. I briefly consider going to my local short track, but they announced the races were rained out yesterday. Probably not because of the track conditions, but because pretty much all the parking is in grass or gravel, and people's cars and trucks would have gotten stuck. You think Zane's teammate wins, Todd Gilliland? You think they got that baby cheated up for $1 million? Dude, if I'm Todd, and I have $1 million on the table, you know, this all depends on their contract. The $1 million doesn't just go to the driver. It gets split between whatever the agreement is between the team and the driver. So if I'm Todd and they're saying, yeah, you get $1 million if you win this in-season challenge. If I get anywhere near Blaney, I'm wrecking him. You get a one-race suspension. Todd's not going to make the chase anyway. He's, you know, no shot at the championship. So a week suspension is nothing for $1 million. Oh yeah, I'm right hooking him. I'll do it under caution. $1 million. You know, Blaney has a lot to lose. He's going for that regular season championship. So, gotta think about that. Obviously, I would not condone Todd doing that. But if I was in his position and had $1 million dangling in front of me, I might have some intrusive thoughts. RFK guys. Busher and Brad starting nose to tail. Or side by side. And then Priest a little off the pace. So a lot of teams jumbled up here today. Spire probably did the best job of staying together. All right. The Corvette pace car about to pull off the track. King wants the Guggenheimer to win today. The hook's just part of racing. I'm hoping they at least get side by side at one point in the race. That would be fun. And I hope we see at least as half a good of a race as we saw yesterday. Green flag is out. Hocevar with a really healthy advantage here already. Clear to the lead. Suarez might follow him through to second. He's clear of Bubba. They have 1-2 Spire. 7 in the 77. That's triple sevens. That's good luck. But for who, I don't know. A million reasons. That's right. Bowman already falling back on the opening lap. Larson moving up. See what the running order looks like. So Bowman back 1, and Larson up to 7th. I think Heim also gained a spot. I think Eric Jones maybe got bit by the dirty air bug. Had to back out of it. Eric Jones would be a good winner today. I'm always going to say that about Eric Jones. I like him. Going to be wild to have the 43 and the 48 as teammates. Jimmy teased some other things, so I'm wondering if Lowe's is maybe coming back, or if Ally may rejoin him for a race, or if they're going to do some kind of, I'm sure they're going to do some kind of special paint scheme, but we may have a few more months until that's announced. Good to see you, Zach. Good to see everybody here today. I'm sure Marco will be in here with us shortly. He probably either hasn't been to sleep or he's still about to wake up. Marco joined us here briefly yesterday, saying he intended to be here today. Bowman down another spot. Allmendinger able to get by Bowman. Buescher able to move up on the opening lap from 15th to 14th, and Brad down a couple spots, down to 18th. These legacy guys doing a good job of staying with each other. Joey dropping on the opening bell. And Bell himself, I believe he's up a little bit. Now keep an eye on Chase. He started deep in the field yesterday and worked his way up into the top 5. If they had managed that a little better, Chase could have potentially competed for the win yesterday. Daniel Dye not in last. Already 17 seconds back here. Running 53s in the back of the pack, 51s at the front. So within this first stage, we might see some guys go a lap down. You look, we have 50 laps in this stage. If we keep a 2-second a lap disadvantage, yeah, we'll definitely see some guys go a lap down. Most of our checked out already. Well, we kind of saw that yesterday. Sometimes the leader would pull an advantage, but usually they would group back up somewhat towards the end of the stage. Now, obviously, this is a very different car, a very different package, so we may not see anything like that. But I'll be watching that gap between Hocevar and Suarez, but also if Suarez can hold that second position. Sometimes the second position car will hold up the field. As soon as they get cleared, the gap to the leader closes up. So, I don't know. I know Hocevar allegedly has a few things planned for his celebration if he was to win here today. He said, Roger Penske would kill me if I won today. Apparently he has a few things planned. You love hearing Junior say Toyota. Christian said, we better enjoy this race because there's no Cup, O'Reilly, or trucks next weekend. Then 2 weeks after that, short tracks, then New Hampshire. Yeah. We have some interesting tracks coming up, that's for sure. No intermediates. It's hard for me to be a negative Nelly about that, though. Back in the day, we would have a stretch of a schedule here and there during the late Gen 6 era. And it would be like Pocono, New Hampshire, Michigan. And it was just bad race. That was a rough time. I tweeted Eric one time. I was like, as soon as they announced the schedule, I was like, this has to be the worst part of a schedule ever. And Eric was like, yeah, that's pretty rough. I always love mentioning Eric. I'll take this time to show off his hat. What a good looking hat. Got the checkered flag under the bill. Eric Estep. Even though he, maybe not the earliest in production, he doesn't do gaming content really. He's got to be on the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR YouTube channels. Skip says, did Bubba Smollett wreck yet? No, he is our defending race winner. So I'm not sure if he will. He did not qualify well, though. And he did take a little trip through the grass down the backstretch, I believe. But Chase Elliott, he did something similar yesterday and still finished top 5. So we'll have to see what happens. Rest of the 2311 guys, I mean, we have pretty good pace here, even with the part-timer. And Herbst has dropped 1 spot since the green flag. Brad down from 16th. Bell not moving up super quickly. Zane moving up, though. Gilliland up 2 spots. I believe he was in 36th at the drop of the green flag. Almost said green frag. Too much Call of Duty lately. The gap from Hocevar to Suarez is pretty stable right now. Hocevar's not stretching that gap out. It's going to be hard to pass here today. Indy's a very single groove type track. This car really struggles in the dirty air. It was really fun yesterday watching guys able to draft up down the straightaway, get these big runs, and then follow the car in front of them down into the corner. You'll have people that try to defend the Gen 7 car and saying that, oh, the dirty air's always been an issue. No, not like this. Gen 4, Gen 5, you can follow guys into the corner. Late Gen 6, you couldn't. And then with the O'Reilly car, you can follow, and you can even pack air. Can't do that in this car. I don't remember where Byron started, but he is in 14th currently. Blaney started in 13th. He's up to 12th. Not a lot of big movers right now. Really stable running order. Still about 2.5 back from Hocevar. The gap for the lead. Austin might lose a spot here to Zilich. Zilic looking to the inside. Not going to get there. Maybe setting himself up for a good run down the backstretch. We have to see what happens here with Zilic. Pretty safe drive there through 1 and 2. Gillen and Gregson still stuck back here. Track position race. That's what we're looking at right now. Do we have 750 or 670? I believe this is 670. I don't think they went with the short track package. And they're also not running the plate package, which the O'Reilly series did. I think, I was considering it earlier. I was like, maybe they could have tested the plate package or the super speedway package here, but 400 horsepower, that would have been rough. They would have had to take the spoiler completely off to generate any speed, but the short track package probably would have been the better decision. I just don't think this car is ever going to be good at Indy. With how much drag it has right now and with how much it struggles to follow through the corner. Go watch a Gen 4 race and they will follow right on someone's rear bumper. Not going to see that today. What did Letarte just say? Oh my goodness. Letarte just called Hocevar Ziegler. He called him by his sponsor. Letarte just brought it up. I thought he called him Ziegler when I heard it live. And I was like, maybe I misheard it. He tried to say leader or something. Nope, went back and listened to it, and he called him Ziegler. You hate there's only one chassis manufacturer and it's not American? Yep. NASCAR's decision to take this to a spec chassis manufactured by Dallara, that put a lot of people out of a job. Now, some guys stepped up, like Brad Keselowski, and tried to get those guys into different positions. But a lot of positions in fabrication departments just overnight disappeared. In the vain attempt to cut costs to building these race cars, which it did not do. Yeah, the 750, obviously, more horsepower, but that smaller spoiler, that would help as well. It's going to be really annoying if whoever starts with the lead in stage 3 just wins the race after leading from the restart. So they're talking about Chase holding up the field. Chase did move up from 25th, so he was able to move up one spot. But now it seems like he's struggling to hold track position right now. Top 10 extremely stable right now. I haven't seen any movement up there. Cole Custer, though. Let's put on Cole Custer. Running 11th right now. Is this Austin Dillon down pit road on lap 20? All right, let's go ahead and look back towards the back of the pack. Casey Mears, 39 seconds back. Probably the next 10 laps. I mean, easily with the next 10 laps. Probably should go a lap down here. Let's see. He's running a 52.9. That's faster than he was running earlier compared to a 1.7. So it's a second gap. So we may be looking at 15 to 20 laps instead of 10. Looking at about 12 seconds between Hocevar and Mears. So once Hocevar starts lapping, it's 3 cars right here. And then he has more clean track. So I don't think these 3 will hold up Hocevar, but for a little bit, he may have to deal with somewhat dirty air. Just keep an eye on it. That gap is down a little bit. Was hovering at and sometimes above 2.5 seconds. Now it's closer to 2 flat. This is kind of what we saw yesterday in the O'Reilly race. Sometimes the leader could get an advantage, but it's hard to hold that lap after lap here. King says, hashtag fire Blake Harris. Custer is close. Still 28 laps in the stage, so it's a long time to hold on. Pretty, or somewhat equal between Allmendinger, Bowman, and Custer. So Bowman could go either way, potentially. Really big gap between Larson and McDowell. That's the biggest gap in the top 10. Blaney, 5 to 6 tenths behind Custer. Yeah, it seems like when everyone's running full bore and not struggling, the gap seems to be about 3 to 5 tenths between each car, just from what I'm seeing among the top 16. Chase Elliott down pit road. Lap 23. All right. That's interesting. What are they saying about today's fuel window? 40 laps. So green flag pit stops should be expected in this first stage. So Chase is trying to short pit here and maybe make some changes to gain over the course of the rest of this stage. So came in around 24th. At the end of the stage, we will see if that benefits Chase in the long run. This could be one of the strategy calls that you look back on later in the race. I'm sure a lot of the field is paying attention right now. I'm going to go see that Jeff Gordon exhibit in Indianapolis. Yeah, I would pretty much expect that timing to be pretty spot on. The whenever I have to watch the YouTube TV, it's a bit delayed. There's not much I can do about that. There's a little I can do, but not much. I hate having to watch through a streaming provider instead of through the antenna, which is not delayed at all. And you're just right there with the broadcast feed, and usually about 30 seconds ahead of YouTube TV. So Chase Elliott back to 36th. Wonder if he's going to get held up here by slower cars, or if there's going to be a big enough advantage on the fresh tires to pass. We know how hard it is to pass here today. For Chase to benefit on this short pit strategy, he's going to need to work his way through these slower cars and get back to clean track, run some qualifying laps. All right, Briscoe down. So it seems like green flag stops have started. Custer's still 11th. Really impressive. Wonder if they're going to be able to hold that through this pit cycle. Look how far off the pace they are. As far as best lap, 49.8. That's pretty ridiculous. 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. And Casey Mears 48 seconds back. So we're actually going to have some naturally lapped cars. Obviously, these guys are actually 1 lap down. This is glitched out. There we go. Chase has corrected. William Byron down pit road. One of the rare times we see Liberty on his car. Well, Suarez is only a half second back now. So, you know, if I'm Posevar, I'm probably wanting to pit here very soon. Because worst case, Suarez comes in a lap before Posevar and leapfrogs him. Larson in his box right now. Is there much passing going on or no? No. Not really much passing as of now. Maybe we'll see a little more as these guys adjust to the track, as the cars make adjustments throughout the race. But right now, once the restart's over, there's very little passing. You know, stock car racing here was never as good as what you see in the traditional open wheel race here, but it also wasn't this bad. But maybe it improves a bit. We just have to see how the race plays out. NASCAR is one of the longer disciplines in terms of racing outside of endurance. Sometimes it just takes a bit of patience for the race to come into its own. So we don't know what this race has in store for us yet. They need to repave it with bricks. Genius. You know how sometimes concrete will come up on a racetrack? It would be insane if a brick came up. Just have a brick going through your radiator. All right, Ty Gibbs on pit road. Stenhouse on pit road as well. I think we may see some movement here through this pit cycle. Bowman's still on track. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think Bowman needs to come down as soon as possible, or he is at risk of dropping out of the top 10 in this stage. Allmendinger on pit road. McDowell in his box now. Some nice, luxurious, big boxes here today. Probably one of the better pit roads we go to on the schedule. Roland Roblox said, didn't seem like they were able to run laps around here better in 24. I think, you know, back then, maybe they were still somewhat learning the car. Could have been a different tire combo. Sometimes, you know, as teams get more data, it just gets harder and harder to race with each other because everyone is either somewhat figured out the track or figured out the setup. Hocevar on pit road now. I like this call to come down now. Suarez was really eating into his advantage, and Suarez on the pit road, locked up the right front coming on the pit road. Need to see if he's going to get a penalty. Oh, that's exactly what we're saying. I hate the strategy of running long. Unless you're gambling to stay out for a caution, which this isn't a track where you're very likely to get one with everyone running so far apart. You're just losing. As soon as the first group of cars come down, you're already losing time to those people. And if one car within a couple seconds of you comes down, you need to be down pit road on the very next lap. So we just probably saw the first transition of the lead there. I have to wait for this cycle to play out. No penalty for the 7. Very aggressive on the entry. So where did they come back out on track? Looking like we have... So this will take another lap to sort out. But we have Suarez, Larson, Gibbs, Hocevar. So we need to watch this gap between Suarez and Larson to see what that's going to look like. Did Suarez hold the lead? Or did Larson leapfrog? Hocevar lost a couple spots at least throughout that cycle. All right, Suarez falling back. So it looks like Larson will be our new leader once this all sorts out. Less than a second between Larson and Gibbs. Can Gibbs get up there? About 4/10 faster that last lap. Bowman once again staying out. What is the advantage? What is the advantage that he's gaining? Are they planning on staying out to start the next stage? Or are they going to pit at lap 40? Lose a ton of track position and then just stay out? Maybe top off with fuel? Like, I don't get it. I don't get the call. Because right now, he's on track to drop out of the top 10. They could have gotten a stage point, maybe even moved up a little. And here they are still on track. Corey Heim also in the same strategy, along with Custer, Blaney, Hamlin, Reddick, and a few of these guys still on track. I just do not like this call to run long when you're running competitive. The rest of the leaders have pit, and you're still out there. Which restart will Larson downshift on today? The beginning of stage 3. He'll be in the lead. He'll downshift, lose 10 spots, and come back and finish 3rd. What's the reason they don't want drivers doing burnouts over the bricks? Yeah, I think it's just preservation. Which occasionally you'll still see a driver slide over the bricks, and that always ticks me off. I forget which driver it was. Maybe it was Gio Ruggiero. Someone did a burnout over the Kyle Busch 8. And it was like the first week or two after Kyle passed. That ticked me off. Because they specifically told the drivers in the pre-race drivers meeting, don't drive over it. Don't do a burnout over it. We're trying to keep it, you know, looking fresh. Not Austin Hill, I don't believe. I don't think Austin went over it. He may have driven over it, but I don't think he did a burnout over it. His burnout was around the 8, from what I recall. It may have been at Charlotte that weekend. I think I remember it being on an oval track. Right now, the Todd father, not in a great position. Looks like Bowman's on pit road currently. I hear Priest on pit road. It's got to be so cool to have a sponsor you actually like having a Red Bull or a Monster or whatever. But having Dulcolac stool softeners on your car, probably not the coolest thing. It would have been neat. It would have been neat, but I've thought that several weeks now about Austin Hill, even about Austin Dillon, and we really haven't seen much from their Cup program recently. Occasionally you'll look up and see Austin Dillon around the outside of the top 10, but then something comes undone. Very nice, Rusty. Very nice. There was a point where that was about half my shorts feed. It's that one lady in particular. If you're a ball knower, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Reddick on pit road at the moment. I just don't see how running long plays out here. Like, are you... Like, maybe these guys can flip the stage? They'll just have to... I just don't know how that plays out going into stage 2. It's a pretty big tire advantage, so like you may lose on the restart, but if you can hold your position on the restart, if you do flip the stage, then maybe you hold track position. I don't know. This is an interesting strategy. That would be awesome. I wonder if he would do it like unofficially, like a cup car at some short track just as like demo laps. I doubt he would get in an actual race. But that would be really cool. Followed up with he said 10. I love when people ask about, oh, how many likes for this or that? And it's like 8 million. You know, some crazy number. Richard, he's like 10. About 10. That's amazing. Do I still play Backrooms games? Yeah, I actually have a bunch that I need to get to. And I'm working on something, Roblox. You got to give me a week or two. But I have something cooking. I just can't reveal it yet because it's intended to be a surprise. King already knows, so don't ask him. So Larson in the lead currently. Or not currently, but he will be. He's in the lead on this strategy. Our leaderboard was ahead of the broadcast leaderboard. Interesting. All right, still a second gap between Larson and Gibbs. If Larson can at least run, you know, equal laps to 2/10 slower, then he will be our stage winner. Whoa! Whoa! Kyle Larson out of the race. Kyle Larson has backed it into the wall. Our leaderboard is ahead of the broadcast today. It is the Snapchat I sent the other night. So left rear. I was looking at the leaderboard, and while I was talking about Larson, I saw Gibbs jump to second. Look back over at the broadcast, and Larson went around. So our leaderboard is ahead of the broadcast right now in terms of positions. Announcer curse. The announcer curse strikes. Oh my goodness. I think Larson probably hates this track. Welcome, Jason. Welcome back in. So a tire failure here at Indianapolis. Hey, at least it wasn't self-inflicted for Larson. But now, we've handed over the race to the Toyotas. Corey Heim. Ultimately benefiting here. Corey Heim could pit and flip the stage at this point. He made it 44 laps. According to Jayski, the pit window is 40, so that may be a little off. So it looks like Briscoe was able to leapfrog Bowman by pitting as early as he did. He also leapfrogged Custer and AJ. So the short pit did work out for Chase Briscoe really well. Very nice. Jason keeping up the lap 8 tribute. It's nice to hear. So did you do a 5 and a 3, or did you do 2 4s? That's crazy. Just talking about Larson. Oh, if he just does this, he will win the stage. I see Ty jump to second on the leaderboard, look back over, and Larson's in the wall. Now, I like the 5 and the 3 because then you're also like, it's tribute to Dale and RCR and Kyle's previous number 5. It's like that works. I like that one, but 4 and 4 is just easy math. Good night. If this was the old Gen 7 car, that's a month off for Larson with a concussion. I want you to think about that comment you just posted, King, and just really think about it. Just think about it. Can't believe Bubba hooked Kyle like that. King retracting his comment. That's hilarious. That benefits everyone who stayed out because it saves them a set of tires. Who all had stayed out? I know Heim did. I mean, really, anyone that pit in the last few laps, still pretty much fresh tires. We may restart with a lap or 2 to go in the stage. Leaderboard showing Heim 4th right now. I thought he was still in the lead. So Chase Elliott back down. Gonna opt to go ahead and burn another set. They can just go grab a set from Larson. Really nice overhead shot of Indianapolis Motor Speedway as they go to commercial there. Let's, I'm sure we have a replay of that last Larson caution, so we'll go ahead and get that replay up. My dog is blocking my foot pedal, so I can't use that to open the source. So Larson's day over from the lead. How many times have we seen Larson crash from the lead? In one way, you can look at it as a bad thing. You know, Larson, oh, he's choking away races. Well, this wasn't his fault with the blown left rear. But in another way, you can look at it as a good thing. Not many people make it to the lead. So it's kind of a privilege to wreck from the lead. No, can teams actually? No, they can't. You can if you're sneaky enough. That's right. That's right. No, that would be the ultimate advantage if you had 4 cars. Is to, especially if you're a start and park like Rick Ware. You have multiple teams and you just park 2 of them. You just pit for every caution. Fresh tires, baby. What you do is you distract. You make it look like you're going to have a penalty in another area. Car close to the line, car sliding over the box and having to back up, or a guy going over the wall by like getting close to touching the pit lane, and then you do the tire swap. All a part of the plan. Yeah, better to go out when you're on top. That's right, Rusty. That's wild. Another Larson from the lead. Let's see, we see this impact from in-car. Oh. It didn't look too bad, but I'm sure it didn't feel great. He hit at a pretty friendly angle, especially now that they've softened that rear end. A lot of the force was to the rear. It's really violent when you see a car hit either driver's side or passenger side flush, and you just see their head whip to the side. Thankfully, we didn't really see that much here. Still a pretty hard hit. Even with it being a lot of rearward force, his head does bounce really hard to the side. Ugh. Got his hands away from the wheel. Oh my goodness. Mamba looking like me at Top Golf. He's set up wrong. I mean, maybe it's the camera angle, but he's lined up for like the toe to make contact. I'm no Tiger Woods, far from it, but just from how he was set up, that looks pretty ugly. I was expecting more, honestly. I do like that, though. I don't know if you've ever seen one of the, like, infield fan reporters golfing at Indy. So that was interesting. I'm surprised. Like, I don't remember Rutledge ever doing that. You don't have enough Deweys to be Tiger? You just gotta work harder. It takes dedication. Why is The Miz trending? The Miz throwing a 104 mile per hour fastball? Are you there's no way this is real. There's no way that's real. Oh, this isn't The Miz. They just stole The Miz's nickname. I was like, The Miz? An aged wrestler throwing a 104 heater? Still, 104 is really impressive for anyone, but it's less impressive that he's a college baseball player. There's this Miners. I can't tell. See Brewers. I know who that is. I have to guess this is some kind of Miners division. Is that the Milwaukee Brewers logo? Colorado Rockies? Yeah, I guess this could be majors. I'm not familiar with that logo, though. That threw me off. From the start, I was thrown off. I thought this was literally The Miz. It's like, oh my goodness, I know he's talented, but I didn't know he was that good. Like, he's good at golf. They baited me into watching a baseball clip. That's disgusting. Yeah, 104 is insane anyway. So like, I was disappointed it wasn't The Miz, the one that I know and really like. But still, 104 is really impressive. I had to put like 2 and 2 together. Like, I see weird logo, I see The Miz, I'm thinking it's a celebrity thing. And then I see the close-up of him, and I'm like, that is not The Miz. Then I see the Brewers on the jersey. I'm like, I know that team. And I look down at the score bug, and I'm like, oh, Colorado Rockies. So, okay, that's probably the Brewers, the official, like, actual Brewers. They used to own our local baseball team, but then they moved to Mississippi, which is a shame. So a lot of times they would send their injured players or their prospect players down here to our town to play. So my dad got to meet several of them. And one time, my dad was at Starbucks reading and got to talking with a couple of their players. And they gave us tickets to come out and see him play. And gave us autographs and game-used balls. Good memory. Good to see you, Stacy. So green flag. Gibbs leading, Heim second. All right. Ty Gibbs taking stage one. McDowell 8. McDowell 8 points. Not bad. Suarez 4. Good for that team. I don't know if I've checked in for today's race yet. I don't think I have. This is your reminder, if you're a member of the NASCAR Fan Awards program, to check in for today's race. Earn points for free tickets, merchandise, gift cards, whatever. So Bowman missing out on the top 10 there because he ran long. We'll see how that plays out in stage 2. Brad up here in 11th. Busher sneaking into the top 10. These two RFK guys moving forward. Blaney down 2 positions. Custer down 2 as well from where he was running. Logano up several spots. Shane Smith making his first appearance in the top 20. Bubba up from 30th to 21st. Now he's near Herbst. Bell looks like he's down a couple spots. Zilich up about 9 spots from where he was. Allmendinger way down. Chase, it's about equal to where he was. He pit under that last caution. And Larson, our first car, retired for the day. Haven't marked him out completely, but that name will pop red in a bit. JJ Yaley gonna win today? In his O'Reilly car from yesterday, he's gonna come back and win. Christian says he'll never understand Carl Long's illegal engine penalty. It's like a hair bigger. Could have happened from wear, tear, and wasn't an advantage. Carl still finished last. Yeah. I think it just comes down to what era it was. It was back in the day, they probably would have let it slide. Like, he's already down enough. But then, like, nowadays, it's like, oh, well, we have to enforce it equally for everyone. Blurry. I turned on a light and messed everything up. Come on. Welcome back. There we go. So we may have figured out what's breaking the focus of the camera. It's the lighting. I'm going to go ahead and retire this hat for the day. Kind of weird. Front row says they want to keep Gregson. All of a sudden, he starts running better. He was last earlier. You think I was going to come back with a hot dog suit? Hot dog suit's bad luck. I can't bring that one back. Not until I play a hot dog themed game. I don't know. Is Gregson running better? He was last out of the front row guys on that first run. Now the Todd father's back here. Todd stayed out. Not really sure what their long-term idea is. He just said bet the house on him. But as of right now, that would have been a very bad bet to place. He's not running sub 33rd. We will see where that shakes out. The running order is very shaken up right now. There were guys running 32nd that, you know, Connor Zilish up to 22nd. So I'm not completely buying into this running order we see here. But also, like, we know how important track position is. So that may turn into an actual 24th place running order after we go back green. Breaking news. Jason says breaking news. The one-armed man is at the track. That's what it is. King says if he could be a tree, what kind of tree would he be? Birch, so he could smell birch, beer, soda. I'm not familiar. Trisha met SVG? That is breaking news. That's really neat. I'm going to make a note of that. Trisha's going to make it on the post-race show. Jason's always meeting people. This time it was Trisha. Waiting to go back green here. Already eating into our stage 2 laps. Just mentioning SVG. Oh, no! SVG's wheel came off. Looks like he was exiting pit road. My goodness. Oh, what are you doing? SVG off track there. Very nice, Jason. That's my favorite person you've met. Yes. Get an autograph from Jason. Eventually, I don't know when this is going to be, Jason, but eventually I'm going to make it up there just to see that Jeff Gordon collection in the Indy Museum. So, whenever that happens, I'll let you know. Might take my dad up there. Working on my dog. He's had fleas lately, so I just keep checking his skin to make sure that they're gone. He hasn't dealt with that, really. Been really good about not getting fleas. So I was surprised when the vet said he had them. All right, going back green. Gibbs versus Heim. McDowell third right now. Reddick going to quickly drop down to that inside line. A lot of guys fighting to get to that inside line currently. Looks like maybe Suarez to the inside. We're going 3 wide in a few of these lines. That's not going to play very well going into the corner. So Gibbs back to the lead. That bad of a year for him, maybe. Far away from where I'm sure they would like to be. Podfather's still pretty off the pace. Blaney's got to be feeling good about the $1 million probably coming his way. Now, the one thing that could stop that is a tire failure. Joey also way up in the running order. Up to 12th right now, actually up there with his teammate. YouTube TV's just buffering. Yeah, may need to restart the app completely. Like, not just back out, but like hard power off your TV. Most TVs run off a version of Android, and you have to like actually close the app, because if not, it'll just stay in the multitasking. Waiting in the background. So McDowell's second place right now, but he's a second and a half back. Over a second and a half back. Hocevar back up from 5th up to 4th on that restart. Brad into the top 10. Bowman just outside the top 10. Bowman the best running Hendrick car right now. Chase pit under that last cycle. I'm sure Byron did as well. They may have been running the same setup as Larson. They're like, let's go ahead and change our air pressures. So what were we saying about Gragson, Christian? What were we saying? I knew I just needed to give it some time. Give it some time. Not fantastic. Not fantastic. Briscoe way back in the running order. 29th right now. So Gibbs almost up to where Hocevar was. It got up to over 2.5 seconds, near 3 seconds. Oh, Chase Elliott off the pace. May also have a tire down. Right rear, maybe. It's on lap 60. Oh, I got turned into the wall. That's the second week in a row we've seen a Hendrick guy clear himself. Hey, Alex Bowman, best Hendrick driver. Still in it, baby. So now we're down to just Alex Bowman and William Byron. Chase Elliott's day not over, but I think his chance to win the race is ended. Saying he's good. Oh yeah, right rear totaling. They're changing it, so yeah, Chase is good as done right now. I guess already 2 laps down. Rick Hendrick on the pre-race show saying how much they want to win, and they're about to pull off a 1-2 at the rear of the field. Chase is going to need a big crash to happen soon if he wants to make up any track position at all. Front row is like how Stuart Haas was in 23-24. They had a couple good races, but most of the year they were off. That was hard to see Stuart Haas going downhill so quickly. It's like when Tony left, you know, they had a few more decent years, and then a lot of that was just powered off of Harvick just being really good. But when even Harvick couldn't pull off a win, you knew something was pretty wrong with that organization. But speaking of Haas, Cole Custer, top 10. I'm going to make a note of that. That's a good Xfinity commercial, Bubba and Reddick. Oh, Chase tried to pull back on track maybe and cut down another tire? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. Is this a replay they're showing? What is going on? What am I looking at here? Back to the garage. Chase to garage. That was weird. So Gibbs hovering at about a 3-second lead right now. Heim kind of in that dirty air bubble, 3/10 back. That's kind of what we see when someone could potentially make a pass, but I think he's in that dirty air bubble right now. McDowell holding up the field right now. They're all stacked up behind him. All right, I'll be right back. I need to go get my dog's allergy medication again. All right, so Hocevar, from what I'm hearing here, sounds like they want to go on the run long strategy. I think that maybe mainly worked because of the late caution, but we'll see what happens here. I really like the strategy of pitting early and jumping cars ahead. Field really stable here. Not seeing a lot of movement. Byron, our only other Hendrick car, running right now. 24th. 24 and 24th. Briscoe not able to move up through the running order since the restart. And Priest, it just has not been a good day for that team. They missed the mark. Didn't qualify well. And just haven't made the right calls to move up today. Two of our Trackhouse guys, 22nd, 23rd. And Ross actually behind them, 28th. Critics are going to be whining about this racing. Honestly, I may be on board with them today. You know, yesterday's racing wasn't the purest, but it definitely was more entertaining than what we're seeing here. the hallmark that I want to point to is the gap you see between these guys stays around 0.3 to half a second, and it's like they get to this bubble, they can't progress. And there's no way that the field has naturally sorted itself out fastest to slowest. It's just we don't see passing. Only time you really see someone make a pass is if the car ahead is really falling off. So NASCAR has to do something about their package if they want to keep running here on the oval, because it's a shame when we can't even pack out half the stands. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy pretty much every race, and there may be some redeemable moments here, but I mean, you just can't ignore what we're seeing. With how packed up they are behind McDowell. He's obviously holding up these guys behind him, and yet they're not able to make a pass. With how hard it is to pass, I mean, if you're the crew chief, whatever call is going to give you track position to restart stage 3, that's what you have to be thinking about now. What's going to restart us up front and maybe put us into a one-stop scenario towards the end of the race. But stage 3 will potentially be our longest green flag run, so we might see more tire failures. I don't know. Right now, the Larson thing seems like an isolated incident. That remains to be seen. I like watching the Red Sox play baseball, but I'm hardly ever going to tune in to watch a team that's not my favorite team play. I might watch a Braves game here and there just to hate watch. If you look at it purely from a cars are going fast around a track standpoint, like the cars are doing that. So Suarez down pit road, green flag pit stops potentially beginning here. I really enjoy being at a baseball game, though. Or soccer. Those are all sports that I enjoy if I'm able to play or be there in person. And even soccer at times I can enjoy on TV. For me, like soccer and hockey, it's fun just to watch. Like, see which team is dominating time of possession or which team has, you know, more shots on goal. Like baseball and the low-scoring sports, hockey, soccer, it's like one good run, one good play can flip the game entirely. So McDowell on and off pit road. Let's see, can Heim start cutting the... Oh, Gibbs is coming down now. All right. So Gibbs making the call here to go ahead and pit. I think McDowell maybe forced Gibbs' hand. I don't know if McDowell was going to cut a 3-second advantage, but I like the call there to answer. But this is opening the door for some guys to potentially run long here. Hocevar probably still has our Xfinity fastest lap at a 49.8. I just don't know how that can be accurate because it's so much faster than everyone else around him. Yeah, F1's in a rough way. You know, they went from being on ESPN and now they're on Apple TV, which is kind of the sport killer. They did it to MLS. And now, you know, especially with this new power plant they have, it's a really rough start to the year. And I've seen a lot of diehard F1 fans that are very turned off by this whole concept. I've seen less complaining recently, so I don't know how bad it is now or what the general consensus is. But early on, I saw a lot of unhappy people. Thoughts on Jimmy using the 48? I think it's really cool. I wish we saw things like that a lot more. You know, it's a special moment when a long-term member of the sport retires, especially one as legendary as Jimmy. But it was like kind of when Harvick used the 29 one last time. Like, things like that should, you know, as long as all the parties accept it, I think it should be allowed. Now it remains to be seen who's going to sponsor Jimmy and what his final paint scheme is going to be. There are tracks I don't like, but the thing I will say, and we definitely know this after seeing the Gen 6 go through many different iterations of packages, this car coming into fruition, and still having the O'Reilly car out there. Some tracks don't suck, it's just they have the wrong package out there currently. So that's what a lot of people were discussing. He can't use the 88. That was the first thing that came to mind. I don't think they're going to make a deal with Trackhouse to have Alex in the 88. I mean, it's probably his last 500, so it would make sense. And maybe since Connor might be replacing him, maybe it makes sense for that, but probably going to be the 25. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to tune into each race. But even, like, rough racetracks, usually better than what we're seeing here today. I don't know if we've had a race this bad. And the race isn't over yet, so it could change. But so far, this is probably my least favorite race of the season. It's like if you took everything interesting about the Indy 500 and just made it worse. Like, at least there's passing on tractor in the Indy 500. But a lot of the Indy 500 is like strategy based. Like, what cycle are they on? What strategy are they on? And waiting to see if we're going to get a weirdly timed caution. This is pretty much all we are relying on in this race. There's not the passing on track, but we are just watching for the strategy. So if you're a big fan of strategy and the crew chief's pretty much determining the outcome of the race, then yeah, I mean, this is maybe a nail biter. Jimmy should go with Home Depot just to shake it up. That's hilarious, Rusty. I ordered something recently from Home Depot, but I usually shop at Lowe's. When I have a choice, I go to Lowe's. So Corey Heim running way longer than Ty Gibbs chose to, and McDowell. Depending on what happens here and how many people decide to pit early, if we get a caution here shortly, it could really hurt Gibbs and McDowell. Back here in 30th and 31st, and they're burning up their fresh tires right now. Larson coming to pit road. Yeah, but the leaderboard is way ahead of the broadcast. That's crazy. I look over at the broadcast, and I see Hocevar's not in the top 5. I look over. He's in second still. The crazy thing, though, is the lap counter's behind. I wonder how often that happens, and I just don't notice. Busher also on pit road here. All right, they really packed in the fuel for Hocevar. 11.6 for Hocevar. Hamlin fan had 2 of his random predictions wrong. All right. Hocevar kind of just going to slot back in where he was before. So Hocevar going to leapfrog his teammate, but not Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs way out in front still. Really benefited by coming down right after McDowell chose to. Denny Hamlin on pit road currently. Got it. That's a wild prediction to make, Hamlin fan. That's actually... It's funny because I can see it happening, but man, that's such a random thing to predict. So Hocevar on the fresh rubber, not able to pass Heim for his lap back. That's what we're looking at with the dirty air. Wow. Wow. Hamlin staying out. Even with Hamlin staying out, he was able to get by Hocevar and McDowell. Because Heim on old tires is able to hold up Hocevar on brand new tires. Yeah. This is the worst race of the year. It's annoying just to watch them run nose to tail and not a lot of passing, but to see Hocevar come back out on the track with fresh tires and not able to get by Heim, that just I need to calm down. It's gonna stroke out here. Yeah, Heim is definitely slowing down Hocevar. Hocevar is not able to make use of his fresh tires, and he's actually burning them off, running around behind Heim. This is crazy. And these cars don't even draft up on each other like the O'Reilly cars do. At least in the O'Reilly car, if you're this close, I mean, you're going to suck up right to the back bumper of the car ahead and then follow them into the corner and have a chance to pack air. Not seeing that here today. There's just this invisible bubble behind each car, and it just prevents people from passing. I don't know how severe or how dire things are, Rusty, for you to say that. We were moving this last week. It was really fun. I was really irritated with how sloppy stage 2 and 3 went. Very irritated. Because, I mean, we were on track to finish third and maybe even at the end of a long run have a chance to compete or be on similar lap times. I was just running so gentle through the first like 20 laps of a run, and then we would just blow back by people. It was a really fun weekend. Good stage points, third, and second. They just brought Hocevar's radio onto the broadcast, telling Hocevar he can't win the race on lap 89. Smart. But I was getting so angry. I was thinking, man, if Hocevar gets up here, is he just going to turn Heim? That's right, Christian reminding everyone, if you haven't checked in for today's race, if you're a member of the NASCAR Fan Rewards program, to do so. Don't miss out on free points, and don't forget to keep your streak up. You get a lot of bonus points by keeping that streak alive. I let my O'Reilly streak break, I think, early this season. I had a long streak going. And we had a truck race follow, and like right behind it was the O'Reilly race, and I forgot to check in for the second one. That made me really sad. Yeah, used to it was mandatory to join NASCAR Fan Rewards. Like, it was such a good program. And now it's like, I don't know. It's harder to gain points, and they raise the point values for everything. But if you live in Canada, which I know a few of our viewers do, you get to keep your points for over a season. I think you maybe for 2 seasons. But there's also less things you get to participate in. You don't get to participate in the Powerball on Wednesdays, I think. Whereas Marco said he was going to be here, but Marco, you know, it's a weird time zone for him, so he may still be sleeping. May have had his alarm set differently. But regardless, I hope he's either getting good rest, because, you know, Marco has to be at work here in a few hours. You know, I got to keep that in mind. Or if he is tuned in, I hope he's at least enjoying what we're seeing, because this is really something. I get an espresso. That me espresso. So, hosts of our down the track throwing the bird to Corey Heim. I initially thought he was just trying to catch a draft off of Heim, but if he was throwing the bird that whole time while turning down the track, that's pretty impressive. I don't know. Did they find Chase when he threw the bird at the double bird at Kyle Busch? Good to see you, Marco. It's a late night already for Marco. Glad to see him here with us. Hocevar with the drive-by bird. So, Rusty, your question has been answered. Marco, the star of today's stream. Let me tell you, Marco, you have not missed much. You missed Larson exploding, but other than that. Right now, Josh Berry in the lead, doing it for Roger Penske. Thank you for preparing my car each week to finish 28th. So I'm guessing Berry down pit road, maybe. Briscoe now to the lead. We'll see when the broadcast catches up. Our leaderboard is kind of spoiling things for me today. Already 10 p.m. for Marco. Now this is a little past prime time. This is late night racing. The Todd father. If we get a caution right now, Todd can flip this whole in-season challenge thing on its head. Now I just have to watch the leaderboard to see if Briscoe pits. Wonder if he can make it. It's a long way around this track. Briscoe, Priest. I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, the whole top five, if they could somehow make it to the end, they would be in a great way. Nope. Chase Briscoe down pit road. Our leaderboard may be half a lap ahead of the broadcast right now. It is. Yes, the leaderboard's very shaken up right now. Very different people, or very different strategies for several teams. And down at the bottom, two HMS guys. Kyle out of the race. Chase Elliott still in the garage. Briscoe receiving his service. He may flip the stage here. I don't know. Now we have to see, is Priest going to stop? That's the next one to watch. Priest, Chastain, and Todd. So Ryan Priest down pit road this time. That answers that question. Hamlin fan says, actually a prediction for the next stage. This stage will be a wreck fest for 20 laps. Then we get a really long green flag run. Bubba gets the lead-off strategy during a green flag pit stop. Hamlin will run him down with 20 to go. They'll duke it out. Bubba taking the pass to win off turn 2. I don't know if you can pass. And oh my goodness. Daniel Dye around. Why can't we just run green? They're ruining strategy, really changing things up. But Chastain, Gilliland, they have not pit yet. And Ryan Priest only dropped back to 6th while he was making his stop. I'm not sure if that's going to hold. We have to see. So it looks like he also had a tire failure. So we're setting up to potentially have a tire failure at the end of the race. So Chastain might be our stage winner. I don't know. We might restart with 1 to go. But could this be what flips everything in Todd Gilliland's favor? It's Chastain potentially getting it done here. So Marco shows up and we get a tire failure. Marco's the caution bringer. Maybe that's all we needed. We needed Marco to show up to turn this race around, because so far, it's been a rough one. Let me see if we have a replay for that yet. Really only 2 replays to speak of today. We do have a replay of Hocevar. Showing him the international greeting. Dale Jr. was trying to refer to that. I think he forgot the actual line, but I believe he was referring to Top Gun. Now, this is under green flag conditions. They just slowed it down a lot, but Himes making his green flag pit stop. Hocevar follows him down the track. That really irritated me, watching Heim on older tires and Hocevar not able to pass. Like, aero is so bad. I don't know what you do here. I mean, do you increase the horsepower at this track to 800 and chop the spoiler down to 2 inches? I mean, there's got to be something they can do to help the racing here at Indy. There goes the Spire master plan. Never know, never know. So nothing yet. Nothing yet from Mr. Matthew. I'm waiting to see if we have a replay of Die going around. But nothing posted yet. Let's go to TNT's page. I don't think TNT's updated their stuff today at all. Yeah, nothing much from TNT today. Trying to find a replay of the Die incident, not seeing a replay of it. I'll just search Daniel Dye on Twitter and see if anyone else has posted a replay. No replay. We do have a still image. Guessing Steven's at the track again today. So 2 late cautions so far, really altering the outcome of this race. Really the only thing that's happened under green flag conditions, where it stayed green, was Chase getting into Stenhouse and ending his own day, or at least drastically altering it. They're still in the garage as of now. I don't know if they're going to get that car back out here. They're not ruled out yet. But obviously Larson crashing from the lead. Now Daniel Dye also cutting down a left rear. That's really broken a lot of team strategies. That's made a lot of days better and made a lot of days worse. And here we see it playing out once again. Now we just need to see if Chastain and Todd are going to make it to the end of the stage. They may run out of fuel. Commercial here for Rick and Morty. Been a pretty good season. Thank you, Charlie, for joining us. Glad to have you. Last lap. Coming to the last lap of stage 2. I'm 99. I think the stage ends at lap 100. So Ross might sneak away with some stage points here, and Todd may receive 9 stage points. Who else will be receiving points, potentially? McDowell, Suarez, maybe 1 stage point. Eric Jones, 2 stage points. These are guys that critically need them. Just missing out, Brad Keselowski. Buescher very narrowly missing, potentially. And maybe Gragson's getting the free pass. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. Or if Austin Hill already received it. Toddfather versus Blanket. Battle of the ages. Maybe if Blaney would shave his mustache, he'd gain a little aero advantage. He could probably shave that thing mid-race and gain a weight advantage. Todd just trying to save fuel here. Can they make it back around? So it looks like Ross and Gilliland are going to hold on and receive stage points. Now they have to make it back around the track to pit. So I don't know if Gilliland was planning on staying out before. Everyone else had pit. Briscoe had pit. A few of the other guys on this strategy had pit. I believe Priest is one of them. What's wild is Priest pit right as the caution was coming out, right? So Priest restarting up here with our leaders, or will be on the same strategy as our leaders, but on fresh tires already. So this has really changed the outcome or the potential for Ryan Preece and Todd Gilliland. Is anyone just allowed to go dig for bricks in this creek? Because I would love to do this. Do I have to pay to go golf and then I can dig through the creek? Or does only Dale Jr. get to dig through the creek? How has Haas missing the opportunity to sign LeBron affected their success? You know, when Bowman said he was retiring, you know, I think Hendrick missed out on a chance to sign him, which LeBron signed a 2-year deal, I think, with a player option. So maybe the driver we're overlooking, everyone's saying Connor Zilic, maybe it'll be LeBron James. Heim isn't even full-time yet, and the host of our High Rivalry's already started. Yeah, we have a really fun batch of young guys that seem to not like each other very much. So Gilliland and Chastain making their pit stops here. Seems like most of the field stayed out there. Maybe Allmendinger along with him. So the big winner out of all of that, I mean, obviously Gilliland and Chastain had to pit. Priest just made his stop, and he's going to restart up here with our top 5. And with how, hard track position is to come by, Priest might be in a good position to get a top 10 here. So what a day for Ryan Priest. I think the funnier thing is Priest cycling to the front like that has taken Brad out of the top 10. He would be in 10th place right now. So here we are already running laps in stage 3. It's going to be our longest stage by just a hair for stage 50 laps. We did have that one caution. So we're setting up for a stage about the length of stage 1. And we've seen 2 tire failures, both Chevys, by the way. But we had Larson and then Daniel die. Could we see another late stage tire failure to set up for potentially NASCAR overtime or a green-white checkered? What are the chances? No, Larson's out of the race. Like, they've already ruled him out. So he's gone. Chase Elliott, he would need a big one on the restart. Chase might be able to pass Daniel Dye. Maybe. If Daniel doesn't come back. So Chase could maybe gain 1 point here. But yeah, he needs a big wreck to happen on the restart. That takes a lot of people out for the rest of the day. Because he's 41 down. We only have 59 to go. So, I mean, honestly, what do you do here? Do you try to experiment and learn some things? Do you try to grab the Xfinity fastest lap by running off the pace, trying to find clean track and running a qualifying lap? What do you do if you're Chase Elliott? Because if you get down to 41 to go, whatever, and there's no chance of gaining any positions, what is there to gain? Could just pull over and go ahead and get the car packed up, ready to go back to Charlotte. I feel like every 5 to 10 years they kill off one of the impractical jokers. So 20 years from now, it's just going to be one guy left. How will the show work then? Just one guy out in public harassing people. Take someone out, create a yellow, and go home. That's what they'll do to get Alex Bowman up there in competition. Bowman's got to hold on. Byron's close. But as of now, Alex Bowman, our best running Hendrick driver. It would have been Larson and then Bowman. So Bowman still would have been the second best. But Larson's day ended quite early. Oh. That's right. I forgot about that. I hate that rule. I hate that rule. Because last year they could do that. And it gave incentive to try to come back out onto the track. That's right. Hey, I'm going to steal some bricks. I don't know if they allow just anybody onto that creek or if you have to buy like a round of golf at this track. But I want to go steal a brick. How do I do that? So I've seen Dale Jr. do it. If they let him do it, am I allowed to do that? Bubba was starting behind the 8-ball today. Took a little trip through the grass early on. Down the backstretch. Very similar to what Chase Elliott did in yesterday's O'Reilly race. I don't think anyone can stretch their fuel the rest of the way, but maybe with another caution, maybe someone could. They struggle to make it to 50. Not even 50. So I don't think any amount of cautions would make or let someone stretch it to the end. But if we see another caution, even if it's in just a few laps, I think you may see a lot of cars pit to take fuel. Guys that stayed out are in a bad spot because they'll need more fuel. Yeah, and you got to pay the tax. I mean, kind of like Pocono is. This race is very strategy heavy. No matter really what series. We see, a lot of 500s determined by what strategy people are on. But, a caution could always erase a lot of that advantage. We just have to see what will happen here. Green flag back out. Heim's going to tuck in behind Denny. Kind of gave him that one. Oh man, we have Hocevar and Heim. Nose to tail again. What is Hocevar willing to do? Nothing. Hocevar, take one for the team and take the Toyotas with you. You should have just drove it into turn 1 wide open. Shortcut the grass, just wipe out the top 5. Byron with a huge shove there to Briscoe. Byron's going to follow him through. There you go. That's a couple cars working together. It's getting pretty wild. A lot of guys know this is the probably the last chance they're going to have to make some ground up outside of the green flag pit stop here. So guys are getting pretty greedy, pretty aggressive. Herbst just snuck by John Hunter Nemechek. Things are looking really good for the Toyotas right now. 1, 2, 3. Someone's going to have to go up there and take it from him. Priest holding a top 5. This was a day saver for Priest. Yeah, that was really aggressive on the start, but, you know, as we get further away from the restart, the guys will fan out somewhat more. So we'll see a lot less of that. We probably just missed our last best chance at a big incident. So Chase Elliott ruled out of the race. Not Chase Elliott. Daniel Dye ruled out of the race. So Chase Elliott, if he's able to stay out the rest of the race, can make up one more position. But he's running out of time to gain any more. None of the in-car cameras on HBO Max have any sound all of a sudden. Uh-oh. Someone's messing with the settings. Or someone tripped on a cable. It would be crazy if Ryan Preece won this race. Now, obviously, even though he has the best fuel number right now, he has a massive disadvantage already. 4 seconds back from the leader. Will anyone in this top 5 short pit try to make up some time on the leaders? Now, if like Hyman Hocevar can stay close, if Hocevar can stay within 2.5 seconds of the lead, he would be a great candidate to short pit and maybe leapfrog this Heim guy that's been blocking him for now half the race. Todd's got to move. Todd's got to move. He's got to make up some ground here. He has some clean track in front of him. Blaney's just up here in 19th. Here's Gilliland. Gilliland's in a better place on fuel, but he's down in track position. That could come down and be a close battle, potentially. I think Priest is in a really interesting place. Even though he may not have a car that could win, obviously. Track position is king. That matters way more than anything else today. So, with the right moves, it could be a Cinderella day for Ryan Preece. That glass slipper may just fit. But again, the one thing that we have to pay attention to, and we're not going to see it for, 35 more laps, will we get a late race tire failure? Or will someone maybe spin coming to pit road that will bring out a late race caution, like it has in stage 1, like it did in stage 2. These late yellows have greatly changed the look of this race. If we'd stayed green, Priest wouldn't be up here in 5th. He would be back there around 30th. Where's the cleat? He's in one of the commercials I've seen a couple times today. Even if Priest doesn't win, this would be a great run for him trying to make it into the chase. I know win would be huge with those bonus points. But receiving stage points there at the end of stage 2 and a top 10 finish, I mean, that would be huge. Especially with SVG not really having a great day. Could be worse, but as of now, it's not fantastic. Really rough day for the RCR guys. They just did not figure it out today. Noah back here 30th. Hey, he's going to fit right in at RCR, let me tell you. Caution. Okay, well, there goes strategy for this race. The one interesting thing we had left. Well. SVG, no, I was talking about Gregson. That's one of the rumors. That strategy was the one thing that could have kept this race interesting. Look at this tiny piece of plastic. I know NASCAR back in the day would throw a lot of cautions to keep things interesting, but this... that was not worthy of a caution. Come on. That just ruined our strategy. Obviously, you know, Priest won't have to stop as long, but with the amount of fuel he's going to take, you know, they'll probably all take 4 tires. You may see some two-tire calls here, though, because, again, track position is king. So if someone can take a little less fuel, I don't know. I don't think the number would work out, though. I think everyone here is going to have to take a full tank. But maybe someone like Priest could gamble on 2. If you're host of Are You Taking 2? Might as well. Might as well. I mean, you're really high up in the points. You have a lot of Toyotas that are ganging up on you at this point, and it's impossible to pass. But then you got to worry, like, restarting on 2 old tires. If you don't hold the lead, then, I mean, you're not going to fall that far back in the running order. But maybe you risk a tire failure. We've seen left rears being the thing. If your host of our taking Heim out, that would be hilarious. Welcome back, Jason. Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the race. I'm sure it's better to be at the track than it is to have the view that we have. Little gnat right in front of me. Yes, we were replaying the Hocevar bird earlier. That will be featured in our post-race coverage, so after the race, we will be live with our post-race coverage. Honestly, this one may be really short because I am very irritated with how today's race is played out. The one good thing that could have saved this race, could have kept it interesting, is all the different strategies. And we had a late caution at the end of stage 1. Late caution at the end of stage 2. Caution here. So the strategy thing is kind of been thrown out the window. Having a great time besides the heat. That is one thing, especially, I don't know if you're still in the infield mounds, but the heat can definitely get to you. Just baking in the sun all day. Those front stretch grandstands there, they seem like they're pretty well sheltered from the sun. So a lot of guys taking 2 here. A lot of guys taking 2. Priest took 4. There's your call. Priest, not one of the first off pit road. He took 4 for some reason. I think that's going to end his day. That ended his day. Bubba taking out some crew members there. Maybe the demo derby was, honestly, I mean, the last restart was really intense. A lot of bad blocks, a lot of aggressive pushes. So maybe... Oh, Daniel Trotta's audio cut out there for a second. Did she just fall in a manhole? Like, where'd she go? The Todd father. A lot of ground to make up on Ryan Blaney. His chance of potentially leapfrogging Blaney probably over now. That's one of the victims of the caution we just received for a tiny piece of plastic. Yeah, Bubba hit some crew members. He entered really deep into his box. I don't even think he was going to make his box, honestly. That was just a bad entry for Bubba. I don't think his crew expected him to go that deep. Smooth over. I like saying that. Smooth off. Smooth off. Byron, not a great day either. I mean, really, it's hard to say people had a bad day when you're just kind of stuck where you're running and you're at the mercy of whenever these cautions fall. Like Cole Custer, he was running top 10 earlier, and I don't think his car just fell off suddenly. It's just strategy. Kind of got him trapped back. Joey's got a chance, though. Imagine Joey gets the lead, the king of aero blocking, even though there's not really much you have to do here other than run your line. Joey back-to-back, getting it done for Roger Penske. 2 RFK guys. 3 RFK guys. They're all together. Reunited and it feels so good. Reunited, never understood. Ryan Priest gave up restarting on the front row. What is that team doing? There's no way tires mean that much here. Everyone else took 2. We saw Hocevar on brand new tires, not able to pass Corey Heim on really old tires. So what are 2 extra going to do? You're going to start the next JGR, but with Chevy? Hey, once upon a time, JGR was with Chevy. It was a very short period of time. They went from Pontiac to Chevy and then right to Toyota. It's hard to start another dominant team with Chevy because obviously that's to the end of time going to be Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick they have facilities and things at their disposal that would make some NFL teams jealous. Just buy out HMS. That would be easier than building a more dominant team than HMS. They lost it. They lost the debris. That's, yeah. I've seen that happen before. Guy hops out of the truck and just reaches down. Oh, yeah, that piece of debris. I think more than likely Hocevar probably also took 4 there. If they're going to stay running like this year after year with this car here at Indy, they might as well 1 weekend a year have every Cup team run an O'Reilly car, because my goodness, this is rough to watch. Wouldn't it be wild if Corey Heim held on? On that last restart, Corey just got somewhat outdriven by a Hamlin. I don't know if Heim wanted to enter the corner side by side, and he fell back right in front of Hocevar. But Hamlin, this is the last race he needs for the Grand Slam. He was when I was asked earlier this week who I thought would win this weekend, Hamlin was the first name that came to mind. Ran so well at Pocono. And my goodness, Pocono's putting on better racing than Indy now. That's saying something. Logano P4. Or 3. Logano needs it. Whoever. The race could be decided right here. Or we could see a big crash. I don't know. Hamlin did go 3 wide. Logano went 3 wide, or tried to. And Logano backed out of it. So Logano's going to lose a spot there. Logano really gave Heim a break. And now Reddick into Keselowski. Really, really aggressive moves here on the restart. A lot of blocks. Logano could have turned Heim there if he wanted to. I think it was warranted there. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Blaney around. Not a ton of damage, but that opens the door for the Todd father. And in that whole shakeup, Hamlin got the lead. So Logano had a little door there to take it 3 wide, and Heim came down the track to block. I think there are probably a few Cup guys here today that are a little annoyed with how Heim's been driving. And honestly, you know, he didn't do anything wrong with how he was racing Hocevar. It's just the animal that this track is, nature of the beast. But that block down the track from Heim almost put Joey in a really bad spot. And he honestly almost got hooked in front of the field. I could have taken out a large portion of the top 10. Not a fan of Heim really chasing him down the track like that. I mean, like that's what you have to do to stay in contention, because I think Hamlin was going to get the lead either way. He just had a better start, but that would have put Logano on the inside. Logano, veteran call there, backed out of it. What was that, lap 119 or something? The Todd father has one more chance. Zach got McDonald's. I wish I were you, Zach. I like some McDonald's. I've had too much recently, but I've been enjoying it. And you know what? I didn't get the parasite. A lot of other people got the parasite. I didn't get the parasite because I was eating McDonald's. Hey, Chase Elliott's still in it, baby. Still in it. Handful more laps. Chase will move up to 37th. Who knows, that 1 point might earn him 1 extra point. Really nothing else to say there. Let's see if we have a replay of this incident. So Logano, really veteran move there to back out of it. If that's Hocevar, Hocevar probably just drives through Heim. Heim probably would have gotten sideways and then sent it into the outside wall. If not, just in front of the whole pack. Come on, Todd. This is your chance, Todd. You just have to make it to the checkered flag. Oh, my bad. I hate when I do that. Man, I should have bet the house on Todd. What happened to Dye? Dye cut down a left, I think a left rear. Just like Larson did. Just go back. Oh, well, I don't have a replay of it. I tried to find a replay and TNT didn't post one and Mr. Matthew didn't post one. So, yeah, no replay. We can just use Larson's replay again as reference. So this is what Dye did, just much further back in the pack. The Todd father. for $1 million. All right, let's for a second look at the scoreboard. I want to see something. 41 back. So there's no way Chase passes Blaney here. I just wanted to see if he could get close. How about that? That's NASCAR. You know, the race is pretty static on track, you know, once they get going, but one little piece of plastic and suddenly this race looks completely different. 10 laps later, we get a really aggressive restart where a wreck almost happened at the very front. Heim almost turned himself off the nose of Logano. Joey backed out of it, lost a position in the scramble. But now we have 3 Toyotas fighting for the win. We have Hamlin up there in control of the race now. Heim second and I think Bell third. So once again, Bell may narrowly miss out on a win. He's been knocking on the door. It's got to be any week now. Hamlin just needs this one last race to complete his Grand Slam. I'm okay if he wins it because he was the name I said when I was asked earlier this week who I think might win. So this would make me look pretty smart. Pretty smart. And you know, it's hard to say who had the best car today because it's been entirely decided by track position. You can't tell who's running better than who, like the guy in front, because they just get stuck in the aero wash. I think, yeah. If Blaney was out of the race entirely, that would be true. Gilliland could literally run around dead last though, and pretty much have a guaranteed million right now. I don't know. Is it easier to step away for Hamlin because he's running so well? Or is it harder to step away because you think maybe just one more season, 5 more wins, maybe another championship? The real question is, does he have the competitive spark? A lot of athletes have talked about it, having that spark. The desire to dedicate pretty much your whole year to racing, you know, time in the sim, time with your team, time with the team that he owns. You know, then you have sponsor obligations, filming commercials, doing appearances, doing interviews. Do you have the desire to keep grinding like that? Because at the professional level, you think, oh, NBA players, they think they have it so bad. They only work 84 days out of the year. That's just counting game days. That's not counting all the days they're in the gym to stay at peak competitive form. At the end of the day, these guys are getting paid to race a car or to play a ball game, you know, a children's game. So it's a pretty sweet deal either way, but it definitely does take a lot of dedication to stay in peak condition. Family time will be more important. That's an interesting way to look at it, Christian. That definitely could be a takeaway. You know, the same arguments brought up for Justin is like he wants to retire, but his wife doesn't want him to. She's like, you're doing so well right now. Like, why would you step away? You know, you can do another year. So, like, I don't know. Wondering how hands-on Hamlin's going to be when he steps away. How often are we going to see Hamlin at the track? All right. Can Joey take revenge here? The funniest possibility, and I don't think you're going to see it here just due to how track positions played out, is Logano and Hocevar teaming up on Heim. Unlikely allies. Joey was in a great place there. Even if he didn't make that move on Heim, if he had just gotten to second, if anything at all happened to Heim, falling off late in a run, Joey could have been there. So Heim kind of ended, for now, Joey's chance to win this race. You know, still anything can happen. But Heim's not making a lot of friends out here, and he hasn't even started his Cup career as a full-time competitor. But if you're looking at it from Heim's point of view and what it takes to win in this Gen 7 car, you know, maybe you appreciate that killer instinct there to go all the way down to make the block. At the end of the day, now there's 3 Toyotas in a better position than the lone Ford of Joey Logano. Which, I mean, look how Chevy's doing today. 1 Chevy in the top 10. A single Chevy. Could have been Larson. Larson was kind of in the position to control this race until he cut that left rear. It'd be nice to see Bell win today. I agree. I just don't see it happening at the moment. And track position is so key. Maybe he can move up to second here. Heim really hasn't been getting the best restarts, so I think it's very possible that Bell gets another second place today. You know, you don't want to go ahead and write the ending, but as of right now, Denny looks like he's in a great position. Yeah, you don't need friends when you're just fast. Maybe. On occasion, though, some of those guys that you've made enemies with, even if you're fast, if they're a lapped car, they can determine the outcome of your day. We've seen that happen before. I'm going to go ahead and start working on my overlay for the post-race show. Let's go ahead and preview the overlay. You guys didn't see anything. I didn't just leak the script. Thought about just saying Indy post race. Indianapolis, you know, Indy, whatever. I don't like the look of that. It's all right, though. Josh Berry, P9. Yeah, I mean, other than Joey, he's the best running Penske guy, even though, you know, technically he's Wood Brothers still, but that's a Penske prepared car. Brad and Reddick still near each other. Reddick moved Brad up the track there, cost him some time. Just don't need Reddick winning again. Honestly, at this point, Reddick's overdue for a late race or a late season resurgence. He's kind of done what Bell did last year. Bell started off the season really hot. Looked like he could be the dominant driver of the season. Looked like it was going to be his breakout superstar year. And then he just didn't do anything until late in the season. Yeah, I'm happy for Brad. What are we doing with all these vehicles still out on track? Are they planting debris for another caution? That's what they're doing. Brian France made a phone call and said, hey, I've still got a favor to call in. Go out on track and place out a chunk of debris just in case. Two cans of WD-40. That's very specific. All right, green flag. So Logano gets his revenge. Heim back to the lead. But Joey's not going to be able to hold third. Joey's going to slot in fourth. But on the outside, Briscoe's coming. It's about to be a Toyota battle here at the front. Now Joey's looking to the inside. Hamlin's falling back. I may have to change the overlay. Logano up to third. And now Briscoe to the inside of Hamlin. Hamlin just getting eaten up here. Josh Berry moving up. Yeah, I'm okay. I'd be okay if the race just ended right now. I like where Brad's at. Berry up here getting a good finish, potentially. Very few lanes still have to single file out. So this could be our running order to the end. Can Bell get up there, or will he finish one off again? Oh my goodness, we have some really close racing in the back, though. There's only one lane that's still side by side at times. McDowell and Stenhouse almost took each other out. Give me a second. My wife is making food, and my dog is unhappy. This happens every week. So Bell already losing some time to the leader. Joey over a second back to second place. And there's about a second between Hamlin and Keselowski. There's a few gaps here. The race ended now. We'd have all three RFK guys in the top 10. So Hocevar actually able to make a pass there, getting by Ty Gibbs. I think Hocevar was one of the ones on 4. I don't know if Ty took 4. Bell trying to stay with Heim. Staying around 7/10 right now. I don't know how you make a pass this track in this car. Briscoe staying with Logano pretty well. Logano desperately needs to stay where he is, because if we are to somehow get a late race caution, Logano still has an outside chance to make a move on the restart, as we almost saw him do on the last restart. Oh, yeah, the lap times have picked up. We have some 49s. See, Hocevar had the fastest. Now it seems like Bell may have taken that from him. See, Hocevar at 49.8. Heim is at a 49.5. He's not eligible for the point, though, that you would receive with the fastest lap. So we may just not be awarding one this week. Part-time Heim time. Part-time time. Heim's staying with... Or Bell's staying with Heim, so I think Bell may have a better car than Heim right now. But again, Heim's just going to have that aero advantage. Bell may be burning his stuff up here as well. Joey 2 seconds back from Bell. Briscoe not able to get by. Gilliland 24th, Blaney 28th. Not much separates those two. That battle's not over yet. That's the furthest Bowman's been back today, 20th. Looks like he got bit on the last 2 restarts. Bowman was running around 10th place all day. So our best running Hendrick car no longer up there in the battle. Byron not able to take advantage of that. Terrible day for HMS. They've just had a terrible few weeks. Street courses didn't go well. Road courses not that much better. North Wilkesboro, not a good race. And then here we are at Indy, where Larson could have potentially won the race, and Bowman did have a top 10 car, but here we are at the end of the race. Blaney's car is not off the pace compared to Gilliland. Blaney somehow improved this car by crashing. Teams everywhere taking notes on how they could possibly cheat their cars up now based off of Blaney's crash damage. I'm complaining of a loose condition. Heim could stay close potentially if Bell got out in front. That balance could improve if he was the trailing car. So maybe Heim could make another run at it late in the run if Bell was able to get by. Or maybe Bell pulls out to a 2-second advantage. That you just have to see. Adrenaline driving the car? Yes. Is the red eyes from crying or anger? Blaney wants the million. He already had it spent. One car separates Todd and Ryan. What is Todd willing to do to secure the $1 million? Blaney is outrunning Todd on pace. A 51 flat compared to a 51.3. If we get a restart, they might restart side by side or even nose to tail. Blaney still has to get by Allmendinger, but Blaney's been able to get by a couple guys. Bell's close. Bell is definitely better right now. But you can see Bell closed in almost 2/10, and he lost 3 in one corner. Bell is in the aero bubble, not able to make up ground. It's going to take the 67 really falling off here to bring Bell into the equation. I don't know if there's much Bell can do other than wait for Heim to really lose the handle on that car. He has to somehow save his stuff, but also stay close enough to take advantage of a mistake. And he's really put in a tight box here. Somehow got to break through that bubble. I think it's going to take Heim backing up to him. Bell is obviously better. We haven't really seen a second place car able to follow this closely before. Again, down to 3/10. Watch it jump back up here in a second. Not too bad. Maybe he can get a run down the front stretch. Hamlin was trying to get near Briscoe. That didn't work out. So Bell, 0.3 back. What's going to happen into 1 here? Back to 0.4. Trending towards 0.5. You can get about 3/10. I said it early in the race. 3/10 was about the minimum size of that bubble. Back up to 5/10. That's what we're looking at. This is a disgusting form of racing. With Heim slowing them up, that's bringing Joey back into the conversation. I'd be okay with a Bell win, obviously, but Logano winning would be absolute cinema, because he did not have a winning car earlier in the day, and he maybe still doesn't, but track position being king, who knows? What could happen is by the time Logano's able to catch up to Bell, Logano's also going to get in a bubble, and Logano maybe taking advantage of Bell being caught in the bubble could get side by side, and that will free up Heim to potentially get a second or two back ahead of the trailing car. So Logano catching up could be the best case scenario for Corey Heim. Well, technically, you're not giving the driver $1 million. Now, they said it during the initial challenge, I think it was last year. They explained that it comes down to what contract the drivers negotiated. So, whether Gilliland or Blaney wins this, like, they're not getting the whole $1 million. But it's just a fun thing to encourage the drivers to compete. Middle of the season, usually the sport hits a bit of a lull because it's not the beginning of the season. You don't have the hype from that, and you don't have the hype of the points battle towards the end of the year. So they were trying to do something to bridge that gap, to keep interest into each week and create some additional storylines. If you're interested in fan giveaways, Powerball, that is your best bet, because they've been giving away these like fan experiences for the last several years. It's down to 1.5 seconds for Joey. Just a second back from Bell. Might start getting a bit of a tow here, but He gains about 6 more tenths. He's going to hit Bell's bubble. Look at this battle. We have a 3-car battle here, and it's because Heim's slowing everyone down. If Bell was able to get by, I think Bell would pull away probably a second and a half at least before Joey was able to potentially get to Heim. Probably get held up behind for a bit too. I would be on board with another Logano win. I never thought I would say that. But being a veteran this late in his career at Roger Penske's track, it would be pretty cool. All right, I temporarily have Heim's name on the overlay. I just take Hamlin's off. If Heim wins, I have to drink a chocolate chip ice cream milkshake. I had a chocolate milk earlier. I hope that counts. All right, remember, this is around the point where we get a tire failure. A late race caution could end this entire discussion. Dude, I would get on the radio and say, hey, tell Chastain if he moves over, I will give him part of the prize money. Marco says if Joey wins, he'll drink a bottle of Deep Eddy. I have not heard of that before. That I know of. Let me Google it. I don't think I've seen that. Popular Texas-based spirit. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Marco already has the bottle ready to go. Take it easy on your liver. You still got a day of work ahead of you, Marco. Think of the future. Zach says if Heim wins, he's going to get tickets for the 26 fall race. Interesting. Maybe we'll do a meetup. We'll actually finally decide to do one. I think the easiest one to do for most people involved would be Bristol. Close enough to me, close enough to Pennsylvania, close enough to Indiana. That'd be the best chance for most of us to get together. Joey's just a second back. Time is running out. Bell is not able to get through that aero bubble. It's staying about 3 tenths. We've said 3 tenths all day, and that's what we're looking at here. It just got below 3 tenths. Probably going to jump over it here into the corner. See that time and time again. Now it's back up to near 4 tenths. I think he's saying he has somewhere to stay if it's Bristol. You have 2 livers and 1 kidney? Very interesting, Marco. What a pleasure to see the 45 and 9th. Chris Buescher's holding on to the top 10, but Hocevar is close. Kind of, again, in that same aero bubble we've seen throughout the field all day. Joey hovering about a second back. Bell back up to 4/10, not able to get there. Joey, I don't know. I don't know how much Bell's, like, obviously Bell's being held up by Heim. So I'm not sure what the comparison is between Bell and Logano. If Logano would have a chance if we got a restart, because he's sandwiched between 2 Toyotas on either side. So he's obviously not going to have a ton of help there on the restart if we were to get one. That's a beautiful part of the country, Rusty. East Tennessee. Gorgeous. So half a second separates Gilliland and Blaney. There's still a car between them. Take a look at this. AJ is single-handedly protecting Todd's chances. He's looking to the inside. He's not close enough to make a pass, though. It's got to be maddening to be Blaney. You know you have the better car, even though you have a little damage. You have speed. You can see the car you need to pass for the $1 million, and it's right there, out of your grasp. Bell back to half a second. The more time slips away, the more this goes back in Heim's favor. I think Heim's going to do exactly what he needs to do. We're about to see a Heim win. They just can't get there. They can't get there. This is a track position race, which is why Priest made a huge mistake taking 4. There was no reason to take 4 there. They did, and it's going to cost them the win. Well, it's going to cost them a shot at the win. Let me backtrack. And Joey now is in the aero bubble of Bell. Not really closing in. Worst case for Joey would be to get alongside Bell and lose a bunch of time. Joey has to have Bell go up there and contest for this lead. Maybe we put dirt on top of this track and run a Indianapolis dirt race, because this is not it. Junior's trying so hard to make this interesting, but they're back at 3/10. That's the aero bubble. That is the distance. If it gets any lower than that, the next corner they go into, Bell falls off. Des Moines, Iowa. It's time for Hamlin and Heim to get wrecked. That would certainly be something. Is the 67 really going to win this race? I don't see a way Bell gets by unless Heim really slips up. The aero bubble's too much. It's been this way all day. This has been the worst race I've seen this season, and probably the worst race we will see this season. It's still been entertaining watching. It's really picked up in the second half, but the strategy stuff has been killed time and time again by late stage tire failures, and we're in that zone right now. Any lap a tire could fail. A lot of guys took 2, so those left sides are pretty old. Heim literally just has to run practice laps. That's all he has to do. As long as he stays in the pocket, stays on that preferred line, there's nothing Bell can do. It's just ticking me off to see this. I need everyone to tweet at NASCAR, reach out, and just tell them this was a clunker of a race. You know, any lap, this could change. Any lap. So we're waiting to see if the other shoe drops. If Bell's able to make up any ground at all. He got down to 2/10 there, but he's going to lose a full 10th through that corner. And here we go, back above 3. Trending towards 4. There's nothing Bell can do. This race is entirely in Heim's hands. Replace Indy with Rockingham. Rockingham, the new crown jewel. I mean, I think we're at the point, this is such a historic track that can seat nearly, you know, once it's all said and done, everyone that filters through on the weekend, you're looking at 500,000 people for all the different races, all the different activities. And we're not even filling up half the stands. I think it's hurting NASCAR more than it's helping. Now, if this was more like the O'Reilly race, then I don't think, obviously the race would look a lot different. But I wouldn't be calling for the race to be cut completely. Interesting. Zach is a singer. That is very right, Marco. Yeah, I mean, even some of the races some people dog on. I'll watch, you know, other people's race reviews after it's over. And people will be dogging on the race, or I'll see people online dogging on the race, and like, I enjoyed it. Today, I still enjoyed it. But I'm also really mad that nothing's happened. Like, in terms of on track, once they've restarted the race, there's just nothing these guys can do. Bell got close, and look, he's just going to slide back. There's nothing he can do. Nothing he can do at all. They're coming up in a lapped car, though. Maybe if he had waited a little longer. Nope. John Hunter's going to pull over. Not going to affect the battle for the lead. Very interesting, Zach. We should have you do the national anthem for a stream car race. Yeah, the same curbs they had at the Indy Road Course. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Credit One Bank. Thankfully, this absolute travesty is about to come to an end. Now remember, this race isn't over till it's completely over. Four tenths back. Bell's way too far back to do anything without Bell completely coming apart. Or not Bell, without Heim coming apart completely. I mean, for a guy to stay in that aero bubble, it means he's faster. Heim does not have the best car. He just had the best strategy. Had a lot of luck. Ran Joey pretty dirty there at one point. Corey Heim, winner of the Brickyard 400. I hate this car so much. I hate this car so much. I'm going to have a hard time trying to find some positives. Oh, there we go. Gilliland getting the $1 million. Congratulations to Todd Gilliland, the Todd father. Put the house on Todd. He said it. He called a shot. Congratulations to Todd. All right, ladies and gents, we are going to end things here. And I'm going to send you guys over to our post-race show. Thankfully, I already had everything made up. But I'll see you guys over there. It should automatically ask you guys to transfer. Shouldn't be a long post-race. I'm pretty irritated with what we saw today. But still, it's always fun to see a race at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Corey Heim. You know, this wasn't a driver-type day. This was a whole team-type day. And we'll break that down a bit further in our post-race. But thank you guys for tuning in. What a day it was. We have an off week next week. Then we're going to be on to Iowa. So hopefully I'll see you guys here in a couple weeks for the continuation of our NASCAR season. But until then, see you guys in a bit for the post-race. And until next time, don't die.